showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Hey everybody, I want to personally welcome you out today to episode 107 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name is Chris Hollifield. I am your host. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the show all about Salt Lake City, Utah, and the people and the events, what's making the city great and making it what it is today. Thank you so much for listening in, especially first-time listeners. I know there's a lot of new guys, new people out there listening in. Thank you so much for downloading it. Hopefully you find it in your heart to share this podcast with your family and friends so they find out about the show and get to know some of the locals, get to know some of the events going on in this awesome city that I like to call home. You know, it's October. It's hard to believe it's October. Winter is right around the corner. There's still a lot of really cool things going on here in Salt Lake City. Hopefully you guys are getting out and enjoying the city, discovering new restaurants, discovering new cafes, discovering new events, new local shops, and you guys are supporting those people because that is really, really important to support the people in your local community. Hey, before I jump into this episode with Matthew Allred from JBones, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor for this podcast, the Urban Lounge. Support them. Check them out. They're at 241 South, 500 East, right in downtown Salt Lake City. A lot of really great bands coming there. Check them out at the Urban Lounge SLC. Man's playing on Wednesday the 9th. I'm excited for that show. And Frank Turner on the Friday, October 11th. I know I'll be at both of those shows. So hopefully you guys come on out and check them out and support the Urban Lounge. Anyways, this episode I sat down with Matthew Allred from JBones Clothing, a local Salt Lake City company. Brand new. They've only been around a short while. We get into that in the conversation. We find out about who JBones is and kind of what got him started with the clothing line. I had a really good time talking to Matt Allred. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and get to know some of the people here in the community, such as Matthew that I'm going to be talking to here shortly. I'm going to put all the show notes at iamsaltlake.com/107. That way you can check out JBones Clothing and connect with them. So anyways, that's enough talking on my part. Why don't you join me now as I talk to Matthew Allred from JBones Clothing. Why don't I have you kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure.
You know, tell the listeners who you are,
Yeah.
what it is that you do, like a little bit about JBones, I guess.
Sure. So, my name is Matt, or Matthew, Matt Allred, and I live in Salt Lake. I've grown up here my whole life and traveled quite a bit, Australia, Japan, different places, New Jersey. Used to live in New Jersey. And I'm growing up, my mom, she was a costume designer for the Utah Opera, and she's recently kind of stepped away from that role, but I've always been around like designing, drawing, costumes, things like that. And so it's always that's been a big part of my life. And so at this point, you know, I have taken that on myself to, you know, like I said, I've always drawn, always just like to create things. That's kind of where the passion is I love to create new things and see how people react to them. I don't consider myself an artist, but I guess that's kind of the definition of what I like to do is just to create artwork. And
you decided to take that and put that onto clothing.
Right. So yeah, JBones, I mean, there's a whole story along with JBones, but just with the, you know, the clothing side is, you know, it is just that, it is creating and drawing and,
what's the story? We got all night, man.
So the story is a long story. First of all, it's good to know JBones. That's
Well, who is JBones?
JBones is he's this character we met. Now I can tell you the true version or the tweaked truth version.
Whatever one you want to give.
We'll go with the true version.
Let's go with the true version.
And then it'll make more sense, and it'll end up being the tweaked version. So JBones. A couple years ago, my friends and I were doing a spring break trip, and unfortunately, I actually was not able to attend, but they were traveling to St. George, of all places. Easy place to go, spring break, U of U students.
Wait, you go to St. George for spring break? What do you do in St. George in spring break?
That's a good question. I think you just go down there hoping to find out what's down there waiting. You
can't even drink and dance in the same bar in St. George, though.
You just gotta find stuff. I don't know. That's probably why I didn't go. But
anyway, sorry.
So no, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. So they were driving down and they stopped in Cedar City, lovely Cedar City. There was they stopped in a thrift shop of all places, as you know. There's typically hidden treasures that are always there. And so when they stopped in the thrift shop, we ended up one of my friends found this trophy. And it was a trophy of this gentleman. It was a bronze statue that was of this gentleman with a briefcase and a fedora, all done up nice, looking in a suit. And it was awarded to this gentleman named JBone. The award was given to JBone, this person named JBone. No idea where he is now, but it was for the best real estate agent for May of 1978. And so for some reason, they bought it. And
so J-Bone, I mean, he was a pimp back in the day.
He was the big deal. That's for sure. And so they bought it. And the funny thing is it was spring break. My friends anywhere from 21 to 25, and just started making up these stories about this silly trophy. They drove with it the rest of the way to St. George, and as soon as they got there, J-Bones went hot tubbing, J-Bones went to dinner, J-Bones went to the parties, J-Bones, he went everywhere.
They brought the trophy with them.
They brought the trophy everywhere. Everywhere
kind
they
of like
went.
that gnome where you get the picture everywhere.
Right. Yeah, so they took the trophy everywhere. And this whole personality of J-Bones is originally just looking at it, it's this image of, this businessman. So you can only think what he had done, and it was kind of this old school looking kind of guy. So J-Bones took on this kind of mafia-ish, clean mafia-ish feel to him. And so, they'd be at parties and things, and people would be like, why do you have this trophy? And they would be like, wait, you don't know J-Bones? And they'd obviously say no. And something along the lines of they'd yell across the room and be like, yo Chase, this person does not know J-Bones. And they do get this dialogue going back and forth across the room. Like, they come over, and then the stories that just created from that point.
What was one of the best stories about J-Bones?
So
that was made up, obviously.
Well, let's see here. So J-Bones, he picks up the tab, and there's this happens on more than one occasion. And one of the stories is whenever J-Bones goes out to dinner, say with a client, he'll typically end up buying the client dinner, as you should. But then one thing he's known for is typically buying the entire restaurant dinner.
Nice.
So J-Bones is just that kind of guy. He's the
kind of guy you want to hang out with.
He is the kind of guy you want to hang out. Exactly. He pays it forward. He picks up the tab. Has a positive message. He's a really just those kind of people that you're just drawn to. You can't really explain it, but they just have this kind of aura about them that people typically just love. That's J-Bones. He's everything that he's a man's man, to say the least, I guess. And
he probably got the ladies back in the 70s.
He did. And funny you say that. One of the true stories, J-Bones, as I said, he went everywhere with these friends, and during a dinner, they went out and I can't remember where they went, but there was probably 15, 20 girls that showed up early and got a table all themselves. And so, kind of a bummer, my friends show up, and they don't get to sit with all the girls, but J-Bones gets to sit with all the girls. And, J-Bones, he plays it off real smooth, real cool, and the girls just love him, and they ended up actually over that trip, J-Bones got kidnapped at least twice. And there was this huge adventure. The actual trophy got kidnapped, and they had to go on these huge adventures to get him back. And so it was the biggest joke ever, but it took on such an interesting role because people take it seriously, and people like to take it seriously.
So where's the trophy now?
The trophy, I was actually going to bring him along, but unfortunately, he's actually away on business at the moment, and so he was not able to attend. But the trophy is still alive and well, but more importantly, the J-Bones
We'll have to bring JBones on the podcast.
We'll have to bring him on.
You
He doesn't say much, but that's what we're here for. So
yeah. So you kind of took the name on when you created the clothing line, or were you doing like just art and designs before the clothing line even took off? I mean, explain that process a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Explain that process. Let's start there.
The whole process, it's funny because this has been going on for the last 3 years. Over that period of time, the clothing line, the JBones, just strictly JBones as this friends type thing, where JBones is, we had phrases like we would have things are JBones approved, where we'd go to a restaurant and we call it JBA. And so we have certain restaurants, and I can talk about that later, but certain places that we go that are JBones approved, certain things that people do, like a guy opens the door for a lady, that's JBones approved. You don't, you let somebody go at a stoplight or something that you're supposed to, that's JBones approved. Different things like that. Beards such as yours, JBones approved.
Nice. Well, thank you, JBones.
Well, of course. So things like that. So these phrases, experiences, they all built up over a period of 3 years or so. And that's the kind of interesting aspect about JBones, is that the clothing, we don't even really refer to the brand as a brand or the clothing as clothing. It's just merely JBones. And so, it's all these stories, these experiences, these likes, these dislikes, things that JBones says, things that he does. All of these things are just
JBones approved.
They're all JBones approved. And so there is this whole storyline and infinite supply of experiences and stories to come that were behind this. And the whole time that we were doing this, they brought the trophy back, and I, instantly, I mean, how could I not like JBones? That I instantly
fell in love with them.
Fell in love with JBones, and more girls and more people got to know JBones, and created a Facebook page for him. And
does he have one now?
He does.
I'll have to put a link on it.
You'll have to. Yeah,
he's on the podcast show notes. Yeah,
he was on Facebook. If he did not show up to birthday parties, girls would Facebook message him and ask him why, or they would personally talk to one of us and get on our case for not bringing JBones to the party. Because without JBones, the party's just not the same.
I could imagine.
So
the trophy brings all, man.
It does. It's the weirdest thing. I really don't understand it, but that's the whole thing about it. Is it's this naturally occurring sort of, I would say, phenomenon within my friends, and it's proven to be something that is appreciated and enjoyed by lots of different people. And so
it's amazing what a little imaginary character though can do.
Right.
What you can create this whole new world around it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's quite amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's been the fun thing. JBones is fun. That's kind of the baseline with it, and so with that in mind, I always wanted to do something with it. And my friends right now, I'm pretty much the one that's doing things with the brand. It'd be fun to kind of get more involved with our friends as we move forward. But at this point,
it's just you.
It's just me kind of pushing it right now, and they help out a lot, and gotta send my love their way for doing that. But the brand just kind of naturally happened. It was I made this a hat that was just, I made it at Lids. It wasn't anything special, but I just I made it a while back, and one of my friends, saw it and really lit the fire underneath me again. And he was urging, that he really likes this JBones character. And at that point I realized, that we could keep this whole storyline going and keep the story true to what the whole point of JBones is. And, so the brand has just kind of naturally evolved from the storyline, from JBones and all these things that we've experienced. And so,
well, that's great. I mean, it's great to find out, the backstory behind it.
Right.
You see this, like, I saw your Facebook page and all that, and it's just like, oh, okay, there's some cool clothes,
Yeah.
But then when you kind of find out, and that's, I'm hoping people even listening, it's like, wow, that's you want to be part of that whole JBones experience. I know I do now.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. It's good fun.
So how long have you been doing the clothing line then?
The clothing, so we've been it's roughly been about 8 months.
So fairly new.
Yeah, it's fairly new. Pushing it quite hard the last 5 or 6. but things have moved quite quickly. We got some great arrangements with people to help with manufacturing, and we have some really custom hats that we make, and the clothing and is just continuing to get more intricate and more detailed and a lot cleaner looking, and it's just getting better.
It's progression.
Right.
I mean, in the beginning, even with doing this show, it's like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Right,
you know what I mean? So you have hats, you do have some shirts, right?
We have hats, tank tops, shirts. Going into winter, we're getting our, you got to stay warm in the winter. JBones will keep you warm, that's for sure. And
what about some scarves?
Scarves, that's actually in the works right now. So
JBones, I bet you.
JBones scarves. He's a classy dude, and he kind of has that. He's a, because he was born a long time ago. He received that award when he was, a grown man, and so he was born early. I'm not even sure, 1930s maybe ish, somewhere around there. So. He's got to love scarves.
Now, did you ever Google JBones just out of curiosity? I know we're talking about the clothes now, but I just thought of that. You can get online and Google JBones.
It's I've sort of searched for him. Who's to say where he is at this moment? But the funny thing is, so my grandparents, Esther and Chester, they're like the typical lovebird story. They're 95 and 90.
They're real names. Those are
Esther and Chester. Yeah, they're from Scipio, Utah. And I don't know if you know where Scipio, Utah is.
It's south, right?
It's south. It's there's 3 gas stations, mind you.
I think I might have filled up there once or twice in my life on my trek down to Vegas.
Right. Most people have, but there's 200-300 people live there. So they're from there. The funny thing is, when I explain to them, they're always interested in what I'm doing. They just great grandparents. They asked what I was doing, and I told them at JBones, and my grandma and my grandpa started talking to me about JBones as if they knew him. And as I kind of pried further into this whole thing, they actually grew up with a person named JBone, when they were younger, and they have unlimited supplies of stories.
Do you think it was the same JBones though?
I have no idea. I think it was, honestly. So
because Scipio and Cedar City isn't that far
for them
to find its way to the Cedar City.
Right.
Well, probably at the DI there.
Yeah, it was at the DI. So, wow. Who knows? But it was just, it was crazy, because just kind of tying that back into, where is this person? They have stories, and they will go. I interviewed my grandma and grandpa a while back, and they don't think, they think that, they just think it's this real thing. It is real to them. They know a JBones. I've never met the JBones they talk about.
Well, how many JBones can there be?
That's a good question. I have not checked that out, but I honestly don't know if there's that many. That's kind of that's a pretty cool name in my opinion, but who knows? So they know him.
So in the beginning, right in the beginning, what kind of challenges were you facing? Were there many obstacles, or were you just kind of taking it at a gradual pace when you started doing, you made the hat?
Right.
You started doing some hats. What obstacles did you hit?
Yeah, there's a lot of obstacles. I think the biggest one is yourself. That's kind of the thing that I love about.
What do you mean by that? Just believing in yourself.
I definitely believe in myself. But there's just it's easy to do this kind of thing, but it's easier not to. Starting on your own business is really overwhelming at times, and one day you'll be psyched out of your mind. Things will be going good. The next day, all hell breaks loose, and you're like, why am I doing this? And so, kind of to break into some of the challenges, it started out with finding someone to make the stuff, and and then in my lack of actual, I've drawn my whole life, things like that, but I'd never really taken a big swing at clothing. And so learning Photoshop, Illustrator, everything that's been done since the start, since I really got in deep with, trying to make this a clothing brand, I've just learned from the ground up.
So you design the designs?
Yeah.
Personally yourself. Did you go to school for anything with that?
No.
Have you taken any classes? You're all self-taught.
For the most part, going through high school, I did some, I was in graphic design for a good portion of, for every single year actually in high school. But, you kind of forget that as soon as you graduate. And then, I served a mission in New Jersey So I didn't do anything.
So that's when you were in New
So
Jersey.
I didn't.
You were on a mission.
I was, and I gained a lot of weight from the food intake because they do have some good food out there, unfortunately. So,
but it was New Jersey.
It was New Jersey.
Dirty Jersey.
It was dirty Jersey. The armpit of America.
Well, I lived in Pennsylvania for 5 years.
Oh, okay. So
I was in the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. I don't know if you're familiar with that area. So.
Did you have a name for people from Jersey?
Geez, that was so many years. I'm sure there was. It's not popping in my head now. We just remember, it stunk. You go down to Philly or something, and you'd dirty Jersey.
I do know that in Jersey, people call people in Philly. I do believe it's shoobies.
Okay.
I have no idea what. Supposedly, it's when they came down to the beach or to the shore. They don't call it the beach. They came to the shore, they would bring like shoe boxes with lunches in them.
Okay. Did you ever get over to Philly for any of the cheesesteaks over there?
I did. Man.
Are they not the best cheesesteaks?
They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I was there.
So anyways, you were there for 2 years.
So I didn't do anything, but it's funny. Design for me is so much about life experience.
Yeah.
And the three aspects of JBones that we tend to focus on are clean, classy, and simple. And, just that whole idea of there's a lot of beauty and simplicity. And so, like I mentioned, my mom growing up, I've always been around that. So it's kind of been something that I feel like I've been, I don't know, call it blessed with, whatever. People, I like my designs, obviously, and some, other people do, but it seems like there's been a good thing going, just kind of with what I've been around and things like that. So,
and the public response has been pretty good.
It's been very good.
Your family and friends have been pretty supportive.
Well, yeah, definitely. They've been very supportive, and we've a lot's happened. We've launched the brand. I rented the depot. And had this huge launch party in July.
And this is like right in the beginning. Did a lot of people come out?
Yeah. So the whole process, so going back to kind of the challenges, I guess, is my whole philosophy. I typically tend to put the cart after the horse. And so it's kind of backwards. And I do believe I said that right. Is that right? The cart before the horse. Yeah. Either way, you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
So my goal was I'll typically put a lofty goal in front of me and make set plans, and then I have to accomplish it up to that point. So, the brand, there's so many people that start clothing brands, and kudos to them. I definitely respect that, but at the same time, a lot of people do it. So,
and there's a lot of garbage out there.
There is a lot of garbage out there, and so one of the things that I was trying to figure out is how to distinguish ourselves. And I do enjoy having a good time, and we had. I rented the depot and set the date about, a month and a half out. This was at the point when I figured out that I had manufacturing, taken care of for the most part. But the scary thing is I didn't know if my clothing would be done by the time the party was going to happen. So
you were sweating.
So I was sweating bullets for a while. Yeah. But the thing was that the whole brand, I didn't want to just, go out and make some clothes and then hope that they sold, I should say, pardon my French. So we went out and did a lot of customer validation, went through and just went all over Salt Lake and showed designs to people. We actually met with a lot of local restaurants, and we did these things with called JBones nights, night out with JBones, where we did Ekame, Bruges, Cedars of Lebanon, and Sammy's. And those are the four that we've done so far, where we'd partner up with these restaurants. People would come to the restaurants on the days that we would designate these parties. They would stay there with JBones, and they'd get a discount. And so it was kind of like before the clothing even started, we were doing these parties to kind of create this like awareness of, JBones. It's good to know JBones because you get discounts at restaurants. JBones he's the purveyor of style and the good life. So you have a good time when you know JBones. There's always something going on with JBones. And so we would have these parties where people would come down, they'd say they're with JBones, they get a discount. JBones would pick up the tab for a few random people that walked in the restaurant. They had no idea what was going on, but we would just kind of introduce ourselves and say, "Oh, how you doing?" And they would, usually just say, "Oh, good. What's going on?" And we'd say, "Well, JBones wants to pick up your tab tonight." And so we would buy them dinner. And
what? Where was I at?
Next time I'm sure we could work something out. But that's the thing, is that's kind of like
bring down our podcast.
Exactly.
I'll set my podcast.
It'd be good. It'd be good. So we'd pay for people. That's kind of the one things that the brand does, is we have this thing called the tab, where at this point it's kind of spotty with when we actually do it, just because it does cost a lot. I'm a college student and all that, so I can't really afford to do a lot, but we do it quite often, where we will buy movie tickets. The goal is to really fill a need when it's needed, instead of having all these logistics with paperwork. We gotta check how much you make and all this stuff. The real thing is we're pushing positivity, and we're doing it on a real-time basis. And so if I saw you at a gas station and you obviously were like, you couldn't find your wallet or something, say you went outside, the whole idea would be like, I would pay for like, not like all of it, but $20, like something that would be worthwhile for someone.
Sadly, that's not much gas anymore.
It isn't. Or well, let's just say we'll put a figure on it, whatever you would need. But the whole thing,
I need gas now.
I'll spot you if you
I'm
need
just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, sorry.
So, we would do stuff like that. Obviously there are details we need to figure out in more depth with that, but we keep it really simple. Like I said, we've done movie tickets. We've done paid for people's dinner. The one thing we hope to do is to really brighten someone's day and to push that idea of paying it forward, because I really do believe like karma is a very true thing in my life, and hard things happen all the time in life. But it really is, the people around you can be and should be a huge support. So that's kind of where we want to push that idea that JBones is this real figure, which he is to us and he is to lots of people.
And everybody wants to get to know.
Everybody wants to,
JBones
exactly.
is. What is this JBones?
Yeah, so we would go out, when we do this stuff, we'll say, JBones picks up the tab, we hand him a card that typically says, have a good day, and it will say, sign JBones. And so it's
so whose signature is that really your signature?
So my good friend Coleman Edwards, and I have to give a shout out for his band Red Yeti. He's a part of this band. And they're
local Salt Lake band?
They're a Provo band. They're opening up for Fictionist on this Thursday. Okay. In Provo. But that aside, I had to shout out for him. He was the one that originally did the signature. And so, me and him have kind of been working, bouncing these ideas off each other for a while. But so he was the one that originally did the signature. So the signature is JBones, but it's turned into JBones signature.
Now, can people pick up? Are any of the clothing in any local stores around Salt Lake or Provo or Ogden?
Right now, we're actually working on. It doesn't help people in Salt Lake much, but we do online locally at this moment. We've sold stuff at Feist. Just that shop that's just down on.
It's a great shop.
Yeah, it's 160 East, 200 South.
Right by Este Pizza.
Right by Este Pizza. So the people there have been really helpful. I've taken designs down to all of them, gotten to know them really well, and they've helped out with kind of giving ideas and things they like, things they don't like. But we just sold out of all of our stuff there just recently. We put a few items in there, and they're gone. So that's a good thing. And Feist was very, very helpful with helping to kind of get me on my feet a little bit, create more validation for the product. They posted a picture of my stuff on their Instagram feed, which was huge, and so they've been really helpful. So Feist is one of the local shops that me personally I just love. It's in my opinion it's the best shop in Salt Lake, or I would argue in the entire state for that kind of clothing they sell. And so locally it's there. Online it's there. We do a lot of shipping. Right now we don't charge any shipping, so that's really nice. But we've partnered up with some folks out in South Carolina, and slowly but surely we will get some things in stores out there. There's a lot of really, really fun things going on.
The sky is the limit, really.
It is. And at this point it's proving to be that way. And I'm not trying to force it on anybody. People just seem to like it, and I operate on that basis, is that we'll continue to do it, and we'll have people continue to naturally adopt it. I don't want to force people to obviously like it. So, and that's what's happened. People like it, and it's just kind of naturally progressing at a rate that's appropriate, and we hope to continue to make a difference and.
That's great. Yeah. No, I definitely need to pick up some of the gear myself now, because I want to support
Sure,
JBones.
sure.
JBones is the man.
Yeah, no, it's
So
good.
you grew up here in Salt Lake City, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, what do you like about the city? What do you as a whole? I mean, just in general, overall.
This city, it's going to other places. Definitely, you have these iconic cities like San Francisco and New York. And I mean, when I was in Jersey for so long, I got to be around city life there. Growing up, I didn't appreciate as much, and going to different places in the world and even in the country, coming back here is always so exciting for me. And I don't know, just like for you, how you feel about the city. I mean, obviously, this podcast is dedicated to Salt Lake City for the most part, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, there's a unique aspect to Salt Lake. It's a
special city, man.
It is a very special city. Absolutely. I mean, just the things I like about it. I'm a big mountain biker, boating, skiing, all that stuff. Nowhere do I know of that you can, be so close to so many awesome things to do. And the city, as I mentioned, the city is definitely it's growing, and there's a lot of exciting things happening.
Do you like the direction that it's going?
I do. I personally, I really think cities are huge for an economy, and cities are the lifeblood of the community. I like that there's more things happening downtown, and then there's as far as the arts that are going on down there, the gallery strolls that occur all the time. It's pretty exciting, just because I think it provokes creativity, and it allows people to to really open up and think more, in my opinion, at least for me. Just I typically walk around downtown a lot of the time, and we'll just take pictures of stuff, and there's more to look at, there's more to do, and it's more exciting to me. So, and it's not too big though at the same time. It still has that small feel, but it's I like the direction it's going.
Would you change anything about the city though?
It's funny. I wish we had more buildings.
And I'm with you on that one.
Like I really do, just because you walk. Right now, there's been a few places that I've discovered just walking down random alleyways, which is nice about Salt Lake, is you can pick a random alleyway, and typically you're fine to walk down that alleyway. In other cities, typically you shouldn't do that, but there's a lot of discovering that can happen right now. But the thing about having more buildings and things like that, there's different things to discover, different like things to find, and I really hope that kind of more of a street aspect enters the city for the case of like you have that graffiti on the building that's that really beautiful artwork that's all over. It's right by the pie hole.
Yeah, right on the side of it.
Right,
was it like a market or something?
Right, yeah, like stuff like
Himalayan kitchen, right there.
Exactly, stuff like that. It really it adds a lot of character to the city. It makes it feel like a living thing, like it's the people invest in it, and I really like when there's unique and questionable and different kind of artistic expressions, through using a city, like a city as a canvas almost, and that's kind of what we're trying to do is to use the city in that aspect to have these parties, to really showcase the unique aspects of Salt Lake and show that it truly is a beautiful artistic place, much like a lot of the bigger cities that you have in the country. So.
Now, do you have any favorite like local eateries, restaurants, favorite places to stuff your face?
I do. It doesn't look like it. I love food, but my metabolism is still going strong. So
you're pretty young, or what?
I'm 25 years young.
Yeah, just wait till you hit 30.
Yeah, I'm trying to
enjoy it while you can.
I'm trying to get it all in while I can.
Yeah.
So the places that I typically go to, Robin's Nest is an all-time favorite of mine. That place is unreal. Gormandy's Bakery, I love going there. I got to throw out a little shout out for Del Taco. I don't know if that's going to ruffle any feathers. I know it's not anywhere in relation to that, but they're always there for me when I need them. And so
they're good, midnight drinking food.
Exactly. So those places, I really like Red Rock. I love their food.
Do you ever get up to the pie hole downtown? Or the pizza there?
My friends go there quite a bit, and I don't know why. I've never been, but
my best pizza. I've been craving them. That's why I bring it up.
Okay, well, I take recommendations of my avoidance of food when people recommend places to me is very, very low. So I will most likely be going there very soon.
The Pie Hole. You got to check it out, man.
Okay, I will.
What about any of the food trucks? You ever check out any of the food trucks downtown?
The taco stands.
The taco stands.
Right by Sears. I mean, those pigeons picked the right place to hang out for food. I love the food. It's so, I mean, it's not that expensive, and it's so good. So like food trucks, those are the ones I've been to. There's a few that I've been trying to get to, but just haven't. That's my fault. I'll take that one. But I'm hoping, I don't know if there's any you could recommend for me to go to.
The food trucks?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, there's Submarinos. They got a good Philly cheesesteak.
Really?
Not as good as a real Philly cheesesteak, but a good Philly cheesesteak.
Okay.
Lewis Brothers is a great food truck.
Okay.
I mean, there's new ones popping up. I mean, the Chow truck.
Yeah, no, I've seen those ones. And then up on campus, they always pull up on campus. And
so you going up to the U then? Is that where you're going to school?
Yeah. So I'm up at the U.
What are you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
No, that's fine. It's good. It's very backwards because I started out, I wanted to do architecture and take over my uncle's construction firm. That transformed into not liking architecture as a job. I just wanted to keep it more of as a hobby. And it transformed into realizing that I love business, obviously, going to marketing. But unfortunately, the way that the U teaches marketing is more statistically number-based. I don't do numbers. Adding and subtracting, I'm totally fine with, but when you get those formulas in the mix, I'm not a huge fan of those. So I've switched into business admin, which is kind of like a broad kind of degree, but at this point, I'm so unsure. It's just ridiculous.
Just go to school to enjoy it, man. I am for the ladies.
Exactly. It's so true. I like school for a few reasons. I like networking or making friends. I call it the same thing. And just the inspiration.
I think networking is the modern name of friends, right? Making friends.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Like 2013.
Right. I mean, like social networking, whatever. I mean, that's, that word's in there as well. So, yeah. So, I mean, school for me is, meeting new people. It's inspiring me and motivating me because it's been really hard. I'm not the kind of, I promised my mom I would graduate, and I intend to do that. But I know what I want to do in my life. But I don't know what I want to graduate in.
You want to hang out with JBones.
I want to hang out with JBones. And, I just, my goal in life is just to create value and provide things, for people to either relate to, but not only provide things to relate to, but provide things that are actually meaningful. Things that have been well thought out, things that mean something. Because, I mean, that's one of the things I notice with a lot of clothing is there's not a lot of meaning behind the clothing. There's not a lot of story or, backing behind the clothing. There are a few that I really follow and admire for what they do, but nothing really from Salt Lake. And so that's kind of, we're trying to become Salt Lake's brand, something unique about Salt Lake that JBones started in Salt Lake. And, we're already kind of... showing that it is working at this moment, that we're able to advertise Salt Lake in a way that I haven't personally seen it done in a long time.
Would you like your own shop in Salt Lake?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan for sure. Is to, as sales pick up, we'll be able to have more outreach with that tab I mentioned. We'll be able to do more really interesting, helpful ways of doing things in Salt Lake, and then. Eventually I would love to open up a shop.
I think that's everybody's dream when they're doing like clothing.
I would agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to open a shop, and I don't even know what the heck I'd open a shop for. I mean, just to be your own boss. I think there's something powerful about that, and it's cool, man. To own your own business, definitely something. You mentioned mountain biking and stuff like that. What else do you do for fun? What else does Matthew Allred do for fun?
Well, I mean, right now all I work on is JBones, but
school.
The good thing and school, yeah, you can't forget about that. But the good thing about JBones is fun. So I get to create and design. I mean, that's something that I typically do just on a daily basis anyway, is I get to, do like Photoshop and Illustrator quite a bit. Yesterday we filmed our first JBones teaser. So that really wasn't work at all. It was, we're filming it. It'll be up soon on the website and on Facebook and all that. We'll have a little teaser of JBones, and we'll continue to push those out as time goes forward. But so I like to film videos, whether that's ski videos, mountain bike videos. I got a GoPro camera that typically I'll take everywhere I go when I do that kind of thing. You never know when someone's going to fall. And if I know anything, is you need to film those kind of experiences so you can talk about it and watch those with your friends after they happen.
Absolutely.
So filming, I like, I try to go on dates as much as possible. Love is an interesting thing, and it doesn't always just drop on your doorstep, obviously. And so I try to go on dates. I go to school. I mountain bike quite a bit. Ski season's coming up, and actually I have to buy my season pass tonight.
Where do you like to go up to?
Growing up, we've gone to canyons a lot, but I love Alta a lot. I'm probably gonna go to Snowbird this year.
Okay.
And so I gotta buy the pass tonight, actually. So
you're actually looking forward to the snow.
Oh, I love the snow. I love driving in the snow, especially.
No, I'm not a snow person, really. Maybe one of these years I'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It's I hate the cold. I like kind of like the 60-degree weather. I like wearing the comfort clothing, hoodies, things like that. Cold is never fun, but there's nothing like skiing. It's the most wonderful thing ever, honestly. And not to mention snowmen, hot cocoa. I mean, snuggling with with a lady friend or whatever. I mean, that's always
it's good snuggling.
It is. And in a fireplace, who's going to turn on a fireplace in the summer? Unless you're cooking something, I suppose. But yeah, so I mean, it's there's a lot of good things about winter. I love driving in the snow.
Do you really?
I love it.
You can come pick me up for work.
Yeah, if you need me to, I'd be happy to do that. Free of charge, obviously.
JBones style.
JBones style, exactly. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll do that one day. But it's just, I don't know. I love the snow. I love, I do hate the cold, and unfortunately, you can't have one without the other. I don't know. Do you like, what's your favorite holiday? I mean, do you like Christmas? That's my
I do like
favorite.
I mean, my birthday's in December. December's a fun month, the birthday, Christmas.
Yep.
I love Christmas, family and friends, and absolutely. I mean, Christmas is the whole Thanksgiving, Christmas mush together, it's just
it's a
great time of the year. I think I just don't snow is just cold.
It is. It's kind of depressing.
I don't like to get wet,
Yeah.
I like to get out. I think the city kind of shuts down in the winter.
Right.
And that kind of bums me out a little bit.
I totally get that.
I'd love to see more activity during the winter months. And who knows? You never know. Maybe this will be the year that Salt Lake doesn't completely. I think people hermitize themselves in the winter.
Yeah.
We gain about 15 pounds.
Right.
Watch a lot of TV and but anyway, so how can people find JBones? Let's run down the list of how can people find your website or Facebook.
The website. The website is jbonesclothing.com, and that's just the letter J and then bones BONES and then clothing.com. So that's our website. It's currently we're kind of revamping it a bit right now, but it is up and running. Store portal's working, so. That works. Facebook, we have a pretty good presence on Facebook and Twitter.
And it's just JBones on there.
The tagline for that is also JBones Clothing. So letter J and then Bones Clothing for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
And people can follow that, probably find out about events and find out about things you're doing and find out about where to find your clothing.
Definitely. So as of right now, we're working on trying to get back into FICE pretty soon here. Just need to get our catalog finished up, and that the retail is an interesting business. I've learned a lot about that, and it takes a little bit of effort to actually get into some retail stores, and so we're working on that. We do have a party coming up this Friday, actually. That's
this upcoming Friday.
Yeah, so the 27th from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. We have this. It is in Provo, and unfortunately, we have to drive all the way down there. But it's this really cool spot. It's a building called Camp 4.
Okay.
It's right at the end of the track stop. So if you can get down there and back by about midnight, I mean, you can take tracks. But it's we have a lot of parties.
And I don't know if this episode might not be up by then, and I apologize for that. But
no, it's fine. Well,
we had a good time there.
We will. I will talk about it as such. It's we'll be doing more. So we have parties on occasion. One we have a DJ label that we partner up with called Damn Son.
I've had him on the podcast.
Really? Well, perfect. They are we are one of their damn friends.
Yeah, Damn Son. It was Cade, right?
Cade, yep.
Yeah,
Cade. You have Omar.
I had Cade on the podcast, and then I had one of the people from the label.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah.
I mean, they've helped out a lot. They DJ'd the first event we had. Omar, his DJ name is Tom Servo, so he will be at the event this next one DJing, and we have Be Wise magazine, which is a local magazine that's I would highly recommend checking out as well because they're helping us out a lot, but it's just a group of girls that's doing some really amazing things with fashion, they find some really interesting people to interview, and it's a pretty darn good magazine in my opinion. So they'll be there. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, it should be a good time. It'll be a big dance party. Every single JBones party is sort of like it's a street classy party. So I'll be wearing my bow tie, my dress shirt, my sports coat, my jeans, and some shoes, and my snapback, my JBones snapback. So we always dress up for these parties. Not to be snobby, but it kind of has that that sort of like old school feel to it. Makes it a lot more fun too. So
absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Anything else you want to add before we close out here? I've actually had a blast.
I appreciate
learning about JBones.
Yeah, no, it's JBones is good. It's I guess the only thing I leave off with is it's good to know JBones and just keep an eye out for JBones because who knows, maybe he'll be picking up the tab for you and just expect everyone to pay it forward when that happens to them. So,
hey, many thanks goes out to Matthew Allred and JBones Clothing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. I had a great time chatting with you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any comments or anything about this episode, give that voicemail a call, 385-202-5926. You can also send on an email at iamsaltlake@gmail.com, so check that out. I also wanted to quickly mention I was recently interviewed on the most recent episode of the Chip and Jay Show, episode 19. So make sure to check that out. The chipandjayshow.com is their website, and you can find out more about me than you probably wanted to know about me. But check out the Chip and Jay Show, episode 19. They're doing a really great podcast here in Salt Lake City. So support those guys and everything that they are all about. Again, the website for the I Am Salt Lake podcast, just iamsaltlake.com. Head on over there. Listen to all the previous conversations. There's a link for iTunes, Stitcher Radio. 5-star review in iTunes is much appreciated. It helps boost our ratings, gets us exposed to more people. If you're not a fan of iTunes, Stitcher Radio is a great option to listen to your favorite podcasts. It's an app. You just download it, put it on your smartphone, and I will be just downloaded, and you can listen to every episode that way. Really great way to listen to podcasts and discover new podcasts going on. So anyways, I'm here Mondays and Thursdays with a brand new episode showcasing people in Salt Lake City. Hopefully you'll join me. Hopefully you're enjoying these. And until then, my name is Chris Hollifield, and this is the I Am Salt Lake podcast.